Hello everybody! So I'm going to be doing a very different video today, as you guys have probably seen by the title. Yes, what is a guy like me, Alex the Hunted, who is usually used to doing kaiju videos and reviews and stuff like that, what is he possibly doing a video about F1? He's got no experience in that or anything like that, does he? Well, not really. I don't have any really experience driving a racing car or anything like that, but racing cars and Formula 1 is, well, it's in my blood. Just look at Hole and Hole. You'll find out. You'll see for yourself. It's in my blood. It's in my family blood. And out of the few things that I do really have a passion for, it's Godzilla and Kaiju's, Robot Combat, Doctor Who, and also F1. And I thought, with a new season coming around, just starting this weekend, why not do my predictions for what I think is going to happen in the 2022 season? These are really not going to be in any particular order of how likely I think they're going to happen, but then I am going to end the video with ranking who I think where the teams are going to finish and where the drivers are going to finish. But anyway, let's begin with my first prediction, which is every team will score at least 1 point. Now, as we are entering a new era of Formula 1 with these new car designs, everyone is basically starting from scratch, and while I do think it's going to close up the field, I don't think it's going to be the massive changeover that everyone thinks it's going to be, but I do expect that every single team is going to at least score a single point this season. The past few years we've had whole seasons where more than one or two teams have scored absolutely nothing. And I do think that with this new season and new regulations, it is going to be at least every team is going to score at least 1 point. But I think there's going to be in my second prediction, I think there's going to be something a bit more. This team's going to do even better and actually score a podium. And I think Williams are going to score a podium. I believe in Williams, and I've wanted Williams to be doing better for years and years. It has been just so tragic to see where they've been in the last few seasons. And I know some of you are thinking now that George Russell has gone over to Mercedes that, well, that's going to be it. Williams are going to be right back down to the bottom, but that's really undermining the skill that Alex Albon actually has. And while Nicholas Latifi he still has the work to do to get rid of the whole paid driver monicum, I do think that he's getting better. And out of all the drivers, I do think Alex Albon is going to be the one of the Williams drivers who is going to be able to score a podium. And I know you guys are saying, oh well, Williams did score a podium last year because of Spa, but let's be honest, that wasn't a race. But yes, I do believe that Williams are going to score a podium. I believe they are going to be making another step. I don't think it's going to be a massive step, but I do think that they are going to be making another step to be getting into the midfield and slowly getting back up to the top of Formula 1. I don't think we're going to be going back to 90s Williams, but I do think it's going to be, this is Williams' good chance to take another good step and getting back into the midfield and eventually up into the top teams, hopefully. But there's going to be one driver I think is going to be a first time winner, and he's stepped on the podium a few times, but I think it's about time he finally stepped on the top step. I definitely do believe this, that Carlos Sainz is finally going to win an F1 race. Carlos Sainz for me is probably one of the most underrated drivers in this season of Formula 1, of all the driver lineups. He's been getting gradually better and better every season that he's been in Formula 1. While his start wasn't brilliant with Toro Rosso and Renault he did drown a little bit. His time at McLaren has just absolutely shaped him into a much better driver, and now that he's been at Ferrari, I don't think anyone expected the season that he had with Ferrari. I think everyone expected him to just be wiped the floor with Charles Leclerc, but no one expected him to beat him, and this season he has had, I definitely think he's going to finally break his duct and get to that first F1 win that he is so rightly deserving, as well as Lando Norris. Well, I don't think Lando Norris is going to get a win this year. Eventually it's going to come as well, but I definitely do think that Carlos Sainz is finally going to break his duct and get an F1 win and stand on that top step of Formula 1. He deserves it. I think he's the driver more than anyone else on the grid who deserves that first F1 win. Now this prediction is going to be a bit one of those that is out there, and I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't happen, but with things that are going on behind the scenes, I definitely do think this could happen. I think that an F1 team is going to be bought this season. Now, which team? I've got two teams I think are most likely the ones to be bought or sold off, you know. And those two are, well, top of the pile, I think, most likely to be sold, Haas. It's going to be Haas. Out of all the teams I think is going to be bought, it's probably going to be Haas with everything that they're having to deal with for the last few seasons and on top of everything that has been going on already this year. If I was Gene Haas, I would have been going, right, okay, let's just sell. We've put far too much money into this. It's about time. Let's just sell up and get out of here. But the other team I think is likely, I think, to sell, and I think some people are going to be like, what the hell? No, that's not going to happen. I think Alpine have a chance of being sold off. Renault has been going off on this that we're going to be making all electric cars by the end of the 2020s, and well, Formula One doesn't really fit into Renault's plan with that. So I think that Alpine, which is basically a Renault company, it's part of Renault, is going to be sold off. Now, is it going to be Andretti who buy them? I don't know. I think if Andretti really want to get into F1, so it's probably going to be them who buys Haas. I know they've tried to buy Haas many times and Gene just kept saying no, but eventually he's going to say yes. Or if not, I think that Andretti are probably going to buy Alpine. That's what I think. I'm probably expecting this one to be the most wrong out of my standalone predictions. But yeah, I think a team's going to be bought this year. Now, we've had a few driver changeovers this season, and chief among which is going to be George Russell, who's finally going to be making his Mercedes full season debut. And I know everyone's expecting this, and everyone's expecting him to just take over the reins from Lewis Hamilton and be the next great best thing. And my prediction is that George Russell is gonna beat Lewis Hamilton, but in qualifying, not in the actual driver's standing. Bottas in the past was a very good one-lap place driver, and as a couple of times did out-qualify Sir Lewis Hamilton. George Russell is just on another level. He's Mr. Saturday for a reason, and I do think, well, it's not going to be like a complete Latifi whitewash. I do think that George Russell will beat Hamilton in qualifying, but not in the main race himself, because again, it is a new team that he's going into, even though he's been basically groomed to be going into there, and he is Mercedes' big plan for the replacement for when Hamilton finally decides to retire. I do think in his first season he's not going to beat Hamilton in points. I do think he's going to beat him in qualifying, but not in points. That's just what I think. I think it's going to, maybe next season, but this season I don't think that's going to happen. And also, we're talking about driver changes. My next prediction is going to be, it's going to be one that I think everyone's just weren't asking, when is this going to happen? And I think it's going to happen this season, that Pierre Gasly is going to swap teams. He has been at AlphaTauri for God knows how long. Well, he's been there for ages, and while he's been doing wonders at that team, I definitely get the sense that he wants to move on. He wants to go. He's very happy there, but he wants to move on to another team and another challenge. I have no idea who he's going to move in with, if he does move. If he does move it, I don't know. I think it's going to depend on if one of the older drivers retires. Now, if Hamilton retires, I don't think he's going to go to Mercedes, but if Alonso decides, that was fun, I'm going to go, or Sebastian Vettel decides it's time to go, or even Daniel Ricciardo, but no, Daniel Ricciardo's got his contract to 2023, so that's not going to happen. But yeah, I'm definitely expecting that Pierre Gasly is going to go, Alpine, you've been great, and I've enjoyed my time here, but it's time to move on to another team. I think that's going to happen. And now that those are my single predictions, it's time to move on to where I think everyone's going to finish, teams and drivers. And let's start off with the teams. And coming in 10th place, I think we'll get bottom of the Drivers' Championship this season, is going to be Alfa Romeo. Now, this isn't because I think Bottas is a bad driver and anything like that. It is just definitely get the sense from Alfa Romeo, more than any other team, that they are not entirely confident with this season. I mean, obviously every team's going on, no, it's going to be great, we're going to do great, but Alfa Romeo definitely don't seem to be one of those who are going too much about, I definitely don't think that Alfa Romeo are going to do well. They've got a new rookie driver, and they have Valtteri Bottas, and I definitely think Valtteri Bottas is going to be scoring points for them. But he's not going to... I don't think Alfa Romeo are going to be good enough to really be good enough to, you know, be in the midfield, and they've been in the back of... They've been either best of the worst or just in the back of the pack for the last few seasons. And I definitely think this season they're going to be 10th. And that means that in 9th place is going to be Haas. Now, I did originally have Haas coming last this season because obviously with him not being there anymore, I definitely think with having Kevin Magnussen back that Haas are going to make a good step. And Mick Schumacher usually does better in his second season of Formula 1. And Haas, while they're probably having a lot of behind-the-scenes turmoil right now, their car seems better. They completely ditched the 2021 season to have this car be better. And with someone like Kevin Magnussen at the wheel, I definitely think they're going to be scoring some points and doing particularly well. But, well, definitely couldn't be doing any worse than they did last season anyway. But that means who's going to be 8th place? And I know you're all expecting it to be Williams, but no. I think 8th place is going to be Alpine. I think this is going to be my most controversial pick because they have a really strong, solid driver lineup in Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon, but Alpine are another one of those teams like Alfa Romeo who I think aren't particularly confident with going into this season, and they've just, well, they've already had a fire, but again, that wasn't really their fault, and they definitely don't seem to be the most confident out of all the teams. I don't think they're going to be having a shocker of a season. They're going to be down at the back or anything like that, but I do think that the other teams who are going to be ahead of them have a better season ahead of them and have a better car. Maybe not a better driver lineup, but it definitely just seems. I definitely do think that yeah, it's going to be a bit of a step down for Alpine, and they very nearly got 6th last season anyway, so I think it's going to be another step back, and that's going to be one of my reasons why I think Renault decide to sell off Alpine to someone else, because they're just going to say, well, we're sliding down, let's sell up and go. So yes, in 7th place, I am putting Williams. I want to believe that Williams are going to make that next step and slowly climb their way back up the grid. And after coming 8th last season, I think they're going to come 7th and they're going to slowly get better and better and score that podium. I really believe in Williams. Not as race winners yet, but I believe that Williams are going to do slightly better. 6th place is probably going to be the most easiest bet and the safest bet of this. I'm putting AlphaTauri. It's where they've been finishing the last few seasons. It's the most safe place for them to finish. It's the most safe bet out of this, I definitely think. 5th is going to be Aston Martin. Well, I think this whole 5-year plan they have of becoming the front runners probably isn't going to happen, because I mean, we heard that from Renault. I do think they're going to do better than they did last season. Their car looks good. It's one of the best looking cars of the grid. And they have Sebastian Vettel. Lance Stroll, he's got job security. He's not a bad driver, but he's far from being in the top 10, I would think. So I don't think Aston Martin are they're gonna do better than they did last season, but they're not gonna do amazingly well. And that means that in 4th place I've got, and I want them to do better than 4th place, but with what's been going on recently, I think this is probably the best they're probably going to do. 4th is going to be McLaren. Now, I think at the start of when they did their first testing in Barcelona, everyone was going, McLaren have got a fast car. Yes, it's going to be McLaren back at the front. And after the Bahrain test, that's sort of come crashing down. That, well, they're not slow and back of the pack or anything like that. They've got some problems that they need sorting out. And with what happened with Daniel Ricciardo, unfortunately getting COVID, meaning that he's going to be on the back foot at the start of the season, which is not his fault. But, well, I think Daniel Ricciardo is a fantastic driver, just missing the entire practice. That's definitely going to put him on the back foot for the start of the season. He's gonna get back up there, I think, but start of the season, yeah, that's going to be the problem. But that does mean the top 3, and I actually do expect the top 3 to be fairly close, even the top 4 maybe. But the top 3, and who I think are going to come 3rd and get the bronze medal, is Red Bull. Yeah, this isn't because I think Red Bull are going to take a step down or anything like that. I'm just fully expecting that the top two teams, one is doing their usual lying, and the other one I think is going to win. Is just they've just seemed to have some. They've been the most consistent out of everyone else. But I don't think Red Bull are going to have a shocking season or anything like that, and I think Max Verstappen's going to get a few wins and do a good job defending his title. I don't think that Red Bull are going to be at the top. I think they're just going to slip down just a little bit, but I expect it to be fairly close between these top three. And coming in second, I think Mercedes are finally going to lose, but they're not going to lose badly. It's going to be close. I think Mercedes are going to come second. I know it's an insane bet to make since they've won 8 out of the last 8 World Championships, and yeah, they've been in insane form, and of course they're doing their usual, oh, we're slow now, we're slow, oh no, like they do every single season. I think they're definitely sandbagging, and they've got a quick car, and they've got a very good driver lineup. I just think that the who I think came first, they have made massive strides and have a fantastic driver lineup, and they have used their time just in the shadows behind the top two very, very well, and I definitely think that Ferrari are going to win the season this year. And I know we have been saying that time after time after time, but this time I do think this time it's going to happen, and Ferrari are gonna finally get their World Championship, their Constructors' crown again. They have arguably the best driver lineup of any teams, and their car, while it's definitely the best looking car of the season, it definitely looks to be quick. It's been the most consistent in both testing. We've just got to hope that Ferrari keep up that consistency throughout the entire season. Now, I know my dad's not going to like that because he hates Ferrari, but that's just what I think. And after doing the teams, that's who I think are going to do in the teams, it's time to go into the drivers, and this is going to be a little bit more quicker. But yeah, 20 drivers, let's see where I think they're all going to come up, and watch this be the most wrong thing of this entire video. So coming in last, I think it's going to be Zhou Guiyao. I butchered his name as well, just even putting him last. I'm sorry about that, but he's the rookie of the season. He's in Alfa Romeo, who aren't in the best of shape in my opinion, and you know, while he's a talented driver, I definitely think he's not a he who shall not be named. There is a reason why he's got that seat at Alfa Romeo rather than the F2 champion Oscar Piastri. I think I've got his name wrong as well there. But anyway, I see him coming last, which is unfortunate. I don't think he's a bad driver, but it's his rookie season and he's in a back of the pack team. I don't think he's gonna come last. And 19th is gonna be Mick Schumacher. It's his second season there, and he is with Haas, but I think they're gonna do better, but not great. And I do hope that Mick Schumacher gets his first points in F1, but I don't think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be good, but I don't expect great things from him. I expect this to be like a 2021 Williams, where it's the skill of the driver that's doing way better than the actual car itself. And I definitely think Mick Schumacher's a good driver. 18th, Nicholas Latifi. He is a paid driver, but he has been getting better, slightly better. I think he's going to score some points this season, but he is still a paid driver. Let's be honest. 17th is going to be Kevin Magnussen. It's great to see the K-Mag back, and I think he's going to be a bit quick. He's going to do better than Mick Schumacher. He's going to be a good benchmark for Mick Schumacher to be judged against. He has been away for a year, so again, I expect him to score some points, and he's going to be the majority point scorer for Haas, which will get them into second last in 9th place in my opinion. But that means that in 16th place, I think is going to be Valtteri Bottas, and I think Valtteri Bottas is going to beat Haas as a driver, but not as a constructor. I think he's going to be the he's going to be the sole point scorer for Alfa Romeo this season. He's a quality driver. I know his time in Mercedes sort of dampened his reputation, but what he did with Williams shows that he is a very, very good driver. And, you know, he's out with Alfa Romeo, but I expect a few point scoring from him. 15th, and this is more due to I think that they're going down a bit, not because of the driver himself, but because they're going down a bit. I expect it's going to be Esteban Ocon. Quality driver, a race winner last year, but yeah, this is more a indictment of where I think Alpine are than I think Esteban Ocon is as a driver. I think he's a talented driver, just Alpine is not going to be the best place for him at the moment. And that means that in 14th place I'm putting Lance Stroll. His qualifying is still really bad, and his race pace is getting better, and he's very good in the wet, but not every race is won in the wet, and really it's going to be his qualifying is really what's letting him down. It's fine being a quick car, but if you're starting in the back of the pack, if you're starting close to the back usually the time with your qualifying, then you're going to be spending most of the race just clawing away into the points, and I think that's what Lance Stroll is going to be doing. And that means in 13th place, and lucky for some, is going to be Fernando Alonso. I love Fernando Alonso. I love this Fernando Alonso we've been getting since his return. He's a great driver. He's a very, very talented driver. But again, I think it's going to be Alpine. It's going to be Alpine that are the problem, not him. And in 12th place, and I think he's going to do better than he did last season, and I think he's going to make some great strides, but he's not going to be the most amazing rookie that we all thought he was going to be last season. It's going to be Yuki Tsunoda. I think he's going to use his time very well at AlphaTauri. I think he's going to be more consistent than he was last season and not drown so badly like he did, and eventually get better. I think he's going to do better. He's going to do better. Get a few point scorings, maybe even skirt the podium a few times, maybe. But yeah, he's a solid midfield driver, and I expect him to finish in the midfield. But that means in 11th place, and this might be a wild overestimation, but 11th I think is going to be Alex Albon. He's going to do wonders at Williams. I think he's going to do really well, and I think he's going to be the driver that gets Williams their podium. 10th is going to be, and this is, again, I love him as a driver. He's maybe my favourite driver on the grid, but it's going to be the fact that he's going to be on the back foot for the start of the season. It's going to be Daniel Ricciardo. I love Daniel Ricciardo, but he's getting COVID and missing all the practice is really going to hurt him at the start of the season, I think. And 9th place is going to be Pierre Gasly. He's going to punch way above his weight as usual, and it's going to finally just go, well, I'm going to go off to another team. That's what I think he's going to do. He's going to overachieve as usual, but yeah, it's probably going to be his last season in AlphaTauri. I think he's going to move over to another team. And that means that in 8th place I'm putting Lando Norris. He has just been getting better and better every season, and I think he's definitely the future of McLaren. He's going to be their #1 driver, and maybe even a world champion, but it's mostly, again, where I'm placing these drivers is not because I think these drivers are less talented or anything like that. It's more, I think the drivers more at the top are in a better team with a better car and are, well, a little bit better than him at the moment. Which means that I think in 7th place is going to be Sebastian Vettel. I mean, the Aston Martin car last year wasn't very good at all, but he did wonders with it, and this car looks a lot faster and a lot better, and I think he's going to be doing some great things with Aston Martin this year. But if the car isn't as good as it looks as it could be, then I think this might be Seb's final year in F1. I hope I'm wrong on that one. 6th place is going to be the Minister of Defence. He is a fantastic driver, is Sergio Perez. I think he's going to do, it's not going to be as, he's going to probably fit in at Red Bull this time. But it's what I think of, that the other drivers are just going to be doing slightly better than him. I do expect this to be very close at the top, which means at 5th place, and this is gonna, I'm gonna get some hate for this. 5th place, George Russell. Like I said, I think he's going to beat Hamilton in qualifying, but not in points overall of the season. And he is moving into a new team, which is not what the top 4 are at. They're settled into their teams. They've got a really quick car, and I think they're going to do really well. But yeah, I think George Russell is going to... I think next season he's going to do a lot better, but this season probably 5th. And 4th place, and I've put him down for getting his first F1 win, is Carlos Sainz. Now, I originally also had Carlos Sainz as winning this year, but comparing Carlos Sainz to Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, well, I don't think he is as quick. He is more consistent. He's way more consistent than Charles Leclerc and Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. I think 4th place is probably what he's going to do. He's going to get a win, maybe even 2, but 4th place is he's going to be the best of the rest, I think. And in 3rd place, and he's going to get a few wins, but he's not going to defend his title, is Max Verstappen. Fantastic driver. My mum really doesn't like him, but he is a fantastically quick, really aggressive driver. Maybe a bit too aggressive for his own good, but I think he's gonna do a very good job defending his title, but he's not gonna defend his title. And 2nd place, he's gonna get 2nd again. Lewis Hamilton gets 2nd again, but it's going to be another title fight. I'm honestly expecting this. I hope it's going to be another title fight, and it's not just going to be a 2-horse race. It might be a 3-horse race, in my opinion, or even a 4-horse race for the title this season. Lewis Hamilton, he is the best driver of this generation for a reason. He has been absolutely phenomenal. Despite all the hate that he gets, he has been a fantastic driver. He's by far the most talented driver at the grid still, but I think he's just gonna be pipped to the post by the incoming next generation. I definitely think that last season was the start of the changing of the guard, of the passing of the torch, and if he can stop crashing at the start and get way more consistent with his results, Charles Leclerc is going to be the world champion, in my opinion. He is a really speedy driver. Ferrari is his new home, and the Ferrari car this season, I think, is going to win, and it's going to be with Charles Leclerc being P1 at the end of it. That's what I think. And, well, that's what I think, and tell me what you think of it in the comments below. I'm sure I'm going to be very, very wrong when we come back to this video at the end of the season. I expect this is going to be really, really wrong. But yes, this is what I think is going to happen this season in Formula 1. Tell me what you think is going to happen in the comments below, and be sure to like, subscribe, and if you are a new viewer of mine and you've just clicked on this video because you're an F1 fan, hi, I rarely do F1 videos, I'm more kaijus, yeah. So you're going to see some very different things, but yeah. I've been wanting to do different videos on different topics for a while, and yeah, I think I just love Formula 1, so why not start now? But yeah, tell me what you think your predictions are in the comments below, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye. Whew, that was longer than I thought.